Hi, my loves. Drea, MILAYJARAE from around the way, where we have culture, conversation, and community. And in today's video, I'm coming to you all with some quick commentary, y'all. I wanted to be on camera today, but I'm like, maybe it's a Wednesday. I don't know. Drop down in the comments. It's still early for me. Maybe we can go live later on and pop it once you pop, you can't stop like a can of Pringles. Y'all know how I do in the lives. But listen, y'all, I wanted to hop into this commentary because I was watching this review and episode with Carlos King and Andrea Kelly. Now, I'll be honest, when I saw this pop up, I'm like, I mean, I don't watch all of his things. Sometimes if it's worth me watching, I'm like, okay, I'll see what's going on now. I've seen Lisa Ray. That was a key. That was a moment. Oh wait, y'all, before I hop into it, make sure you like this video. Like this video and subscribe if you enjoy these type of commentary, reviews, black people, black girls, black things, black culture. This is where we this is where we are congregating, right? Um, so anyway, so I'm seeing like Andrea Kelly. I'm like, oh, okay, girl, she's always so cringy. I don't really have the time. She's a little over the top. I don't really want to watch it. Skips past it. So I'm on my way to work and I'm like, I usually listen to like, I've been listening to podcasts about international politics. Don't ask me why. That's where I'm at right now. But I'm like, I'm on the train. I'm like, I want something a little light, a little messy, right? And I'm like, you know what? Let's just see what this girl's talking about. And y'all, I am so glad I did because I have to. And I said this while I was at work. I was like, I have to bring this to the platform. Y'all, we owe Andrea Kelly an apology. And I'll go so far as to say, I'll just start with myself because I judged, and it's so easy to judge women. Now, I don't want to make this a full review of what the actual interview was about. I will link it in the bio because I think it's worth a listen. Even if you have never been in an abusive relationship yourself, you may know a sister, you may know a niece, a nephew, or whoever who might experience intimate partner violence or domestic violence, right? And so I think it's important to have these kind of conversations because that is who I am by nature, y'all. Okay. I don't say culture, conversation, and community because it's something Chat GPT populated. In fact, I made that up before ChatGPT was even a thing. But I say that because that's truly what I believe in. And, you know, I just feel like we don't talk about domestic violence enough, right? So Andrea Kelly main purpose on this podcast episode was one to promote her book, two to promote her studio, which I'm assuming is down in Atlanta if I can remember correctly. And lastly was to spread awareness about domestic violence and clear her name. So when we started watching all the documentaries and docu-series from R. Kelly, we all just kind of was like, oh wow, well, the wife was there. And I remember Sparkle mentioning that, the wife was there and, so many things kind of came out about Robert Kelly and, his wife or his then wife and yada, yada, yada. And she gets a really bad rep. And so she talks about her experiences with Robert and how they came to be and who he became and what the abuse was like. Now, I don't want to talk a whole bunch about that because you two don't need to come over here and tap me on my shoulder. Okay. Um, but I do want to mention how just the differences between how, and this is not too long ago. I mean, R. Kelly just got sentenced and went to prison a couple of years ago, girl. It hasn't even been 5 years. I don't believe. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I'm saying he most recently went to jail. And then we see Diddy come out and the video footage surfaces of him and Cassie and all of these different things. And we are in a completely different space in believing women. Andrea Kelly really highlights how nasty as a society we are to women. And when I say that, I mean it from a judicial standpoint, I mean it from a social standpoint, I mean it from even in healthcare systems. We treat women really, really poorly. And when a woman is being abused, whether it be mentally or physically, we somehow treat her even worse, right? When in a moment where she could use more love and she could use more grace and understanding, we vilify and we demonize. Girl, couldn't be me. Child, you better than me. Girl, well, I don't understand how she just sit there and let this man. I don't get how she let this man, girl, shit. That's not doing anything but casting judgment and adding to shame of a person who is going through something mentally. And it's not until I had my own experiences as a woman that I could kind of understand, um, how people can easily judge and easily perceive somebody as weak minded for staying in an abusive situation. Now, when you talk about someone like an Andrea Kelly, she was dealing with the man who she said was the king of R&B, and who where are you going to go, and who's going to want you. I'm the king of R&B. Who's going to want to deal with you? You have three of my babies. You ain't going nowhere. And he's a man who had real means, and he had real power and influence to unalive somebody, to make somebody disappear, or to make somebody suddenly go away by a random pneumonia flu. Kim Porter. And she makes the comparison between how we can now come forth and rally around Cassie and see her get, assaulted and everything like this. But when she was coming out and telling her story, she was, made fun of, vilified, demonized, and people drag her. They say she's corny and she's crazy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, them dances, girl. I be girl. One thing I'm gonna do is scroll right past a Drea Kelly video, especially if she dancing, and she's bad. She bad to the bone. You hear what I'm saying? Make no mistakes. I'm not hating or anything. Miss Mama is bad to the bone naturally, but I just can't, girl. I can't. I know my limitations because I don't take too many things that serious. But let me be for real, okay? Because look at me now, it's about to flare up. But I do think that, when a woman is experiencing any form of abuse, it's no way an opportunity for any of us to judge her, because you always think about, like, oh, how could you end up in that relationship, y'all? When you are being in an abusive relationship, you don't realize it. You don't realize, girl. Them girls don't realize that they being abused. Some of them in the beginning, you know what I mean? It's a slow burn, it's a slow leak. You know what I mean? 1 minute the tire is fully, like, oh, it's a little wobbly, but I think I can make it to the destination. Then you hear the shit start shaking and rattling. Oh shit, I think we about to go down. Boom, tire bust. Now you're on the side of the road. What you gonna do? Ride it to the rim, on the rim, and now you messed up the whole thing. Now it's costing you more money, y'all. It's a slow burn. And so when we have situations with people who are experiencing this, the last thing that you should do is judge them. At the minimum, just hold space. Hold a safe space. I don't want to get into a whole bunch of tools and resources and what it looks like, because I don't want to trigger anybody. Hell, I don't want to trigger myself. The interview is so good. Um, that should be considered a tool. Just how she talks, it's a little tea. It's a little, you can get your fill, but it's also so informative of having a safety plan. And she mentioned something about women who are abused. It's a higher probability of a woman leaving a situation and then going back to their abuser. 9 times out of 10, she has a higher chance of being unalived by that man. And the number one way that men do it is like strangulation. These are just things that I know off of just taking trainings. But y'all, intimate partner violence is so real, and it's not just always physical. Sometimes that mental and verbal abuse takes an unlearning, especially if you are a person who had a significant childhood trauma. When you have trauma, it rewires your brain. You are not fully functioning. You are not fully thinking to your capacity. Okay, it's like, it's almost as if you were, you know, exposed to a drug or a chemical or something. It rewires your brain. And so crackhead Jeray is going to think differently than sober Jeray. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm saying that just to be whatever, but I hope you're understanding. And so if you know anybody who's experiencing intimate partner violence, or if you yourself, girl, you have to recognize it, and recognizing it is such a hard part, and especially when it's not physical, especially when you have a man with means who is taking care, because 9 times out of 10, your people, your mama, your grandmama, the girl you go to lunch with, the co-worker, girl, he paying them bills, girl. Just can't hit you with it. And so verbal and mental abuse does damage. It's like like small nicks, small chinks, small things into your arm until you realize all the shit fell off. And shout out to Carlos because he really did an excellent job at navigating this conversation, still getting the tea, holding space, and doing it in a way that was tactful, allowing her to speak, giving her a platform. This is what you do when you have the power and the influence. This is true influence. And I'm always going to champion for Black women, no matter where you are on the spectrum. And I'm talking about physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial. Okay, because at some point we all have a commonality, whether you from the hood or whether you from the suburbs, whether you Baptist or you Pentecostal, whether you deal with niggas or you like poppies. You get what I'm saying? There is space for you here, sister. I want to know what you think about this interview. I want to know if you've ever experienced anything like this. If so, if you feel comfortable sharing, please drop down in the comments. If you want to have a different conversation about this, let me know too, because I would love to really talk about this in a more structured way. Just because I'm so much more aware of it, and I'm so much more aware of the shame that comes with I was in an abusive relationship. You? How the fuck you? Girl, you got too much. Like I just understand it just completely different now. And so I would love to hold that space if that's what you all are interested in. Let me know. Anyway, sister, I'm out of here. I will drop this link in my description box if you're interested. Let me know what you think. As always, I'm sending you much love and much light, and I will see you in the next video.